Globally, the financial services industry has come under intense competition from fintech firms, with agile and innovative firms leveraging technology to deliver tailored financial service offerings to consumers and corporates. In Nigeria, investors are taking positions or stakes in the country's growing tech ecosystem, fueled by attractive fundamentals like the country's youthful and tech-savvy population, increasing smartphones and internet penetration, large unbanked population, amongst other factors. Between 2011 and 2018, fintech investments in Nigeria recorded more than $200 million US. However, the need to develop a robust regulatory structure for the fintech sector in Nigeria has been topical as the CBN and NCC provides oversight for certain segments of the fintech sector in the country, though ambiguity still exists in extant laws which needs to be addressed. Joining me live in our Lagos studio as we assess the growth and performance of Nigerian fintech industries is the Chief Operating Officer of O3 Capital Nigeria Limited, Mr. Taye Falana. Good afternoon, Mr. Falana. It's good to have you in the studio.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
Yes, let's start our discussion first with the overall performance of fintech firms in the country, maybe for the year 2021, and of course, prospects for 2022. What are some key catalysts for growth you would think would change the narrative?
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
I want to say that fintech firms have done, fantastically well for themselves in the year 2021. Indices have shown that the performance are, very, very impressive. From reports gotten from the NIPS site, shows that those in the payment sector of fintech did close to 220 trillion, or let me say over 220 trillion naira, transactions via the electronic fund transfer, as well as the e-commerce channels in 2021 alone. That's 2021 alone. That's a massive figure. Also, if you look at those, the fintech in the digital lending space, they've done so well for themselves as well. They've done over 50% of what they did in 2019 and also in 2020. I want to say that we need to give kudos to every player, as well as all stakeholders in the fintech industry. Those people, I also want to say a very big kudos to all our regulators, both the CBN and the NCC, for providing the enabling environment for fintechs to have such a fantastic performance in year 2021. However, it is not yet uhuru, it is not yet freedom, it is not yet what we need to celebrate. I will say that there is a room for improvement in what fintech firms have done for them in 2021. Some of the things that we need to do is for the NCC to ensure that there's deeper penetration of internet services to areas where you have digital divide in Nigeria, most especially in those remote areas where you don't have enough internet coverage. So we want the NCC through the ISPs to assist in deepening internet penetration in those areas. The CBN has done fantastically well, no doubt about that, and we hope and believe that they will continue to support these fintech firms in developing and improving in their performance for economic growth.
Now, let me congratulate you on your award of the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard certification for, and this looks very good. And customer data protection is a critical element when we look at all of this. Now, what will these awards like this or recognitions like this spur people to do better? What more should we expect moving on?
Thank you very much. The PCI Security Standard Council at inception placed 12 very strict compliance requirements on our table, which we had to really deal with. It took us almost 11 months to be able to overcome, because they were so strict, and we are very excited and happy that at the end of the day we got this certification. However, it is very important to say that being certified is not the end of it all. You must, as a fintech firm and as As most especially if you are in the payment card industry, you must be able to, focus and also ensure that those regulatory standards, that you've complied with, are consistently and continuously maintained, or else you have yourself to blame for it.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So getting high at times is always very easy, but staying high is also something that is very, very, very important. Let's talk about consumer behaviors, purchasing patterns, and then provision of cash for card holders. Let's talk about that. With the growing shift in digital payments, a lot of it, the ATMs, the POSs, and all of that. Now, what can be done to, at least change consumer behaviors to all of this and let them do it right?
From 2019, I would say the pandemic has really changed consumer behavior. It has changed purchasing pattern. Prior to that, we had a kind of balance in transactions done across ATM, POS, and web channels. However, when the pandemic came, there was an increase in the rate of digital adoption. Majority of consumers had to go for smartphones where they can do digital payments, pay bills, do transfers easily and seamlessly. And they are very happy for it. For about 2 years or thereabout, the statistical data that we have had shown that cash transaction has dropped. The volume of cash transaction has dropped, and really people have embraced digital payment as a means of banking payments in Nigeria.
Well, let's now analyze the concept of physical and virtual credit cards a little further for individuals and business owners. A lot of talk around this. With the pandemic and all of this, what effect has that really had on trade facilitation and business transactions?
In O3 Capital, we provide every form of card to you, both physical and the virtual card. So you have a choice, However, we try as much as possible to advise our customers to have a physical card. It is true, and it is very, very true, really, that the pandemic has really increased digital adoption. But it's not to say that the physical card transaction or physical card processing will definitely go into oblivion. So right now, what we ask our consumers to do is actually, despite having the digital means of banking and making payment, still have your card for POS purposes, and sometimes if you need to withdraw cash. It is very important.
And when we talk about online and all of, let's talk about a little bit about, it comes to my mind, security. Okay. How well do you think we are doing about securing that space? We still have some sharp practices one way or the other. Let's talk about securing that space. What more can be done? Techie people like you guys are into the system. What are you doing to checkmate all of this?
Thank you.
But these guys are also working.
Yeah, they're working.
You're working.
They're working. Yeah, definitely they're working. I like this question. Yeah, I like it. Let me use those of us that are in the payment card industry as a typical example. The PCI SS will always place these regulatory standards on your desk. It is imperative that you meet these security standards. After meeting these security standards, you have to ensure that you maintain these security standards without compromise. If you compromise, then those outside will eat you. There are some periodic scanning that you need to do on your environment. You try to attack yourself. They call it technically the ASV scanning and VAPT. VAPT means vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. You carry it periodically and try to test yourself both externally and internally to know how vulnerable you are to external attack, because we know that cyber threat it's out there and it's looming across every channel.
Well, let's take a break, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation. I'll still have Mr. Tai Falana in the studio. Let's take a break, and we'll be back. It's Your Business Nigeria.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
There is always more to a story than the scribbling headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thank you for staying tuned. We continue our discussion around the fintech space, and I have the right person in the house here helping us break it down to understand what this means, and of course what we should expect in the new year. Is the CEO at O3. He's talking so very much about the fintech space and what's been happening. Now, before we go on, I'm looking at this O3 Capital Nigeria Limited. Yes, that's Mr. Tai Falana, who is in the studio. Now, we're talking about the cyber threats and all of that before we went on that break. Now, I'm looking at COVID and its effect on all systems. And one way or the other, there was a shift towards the online platforms because we all had to stay at home and all of that. What impact did that have on the space at that time? And now that Omicron is still there, there's still a little bit of fears one way or the other. How is the sector doing with all of these hits coming from left and right?
It's a blessing for us that are in the fintech space because we have an increase, an upsurge in the number of transactions that we do, on a daily basis compared to what we used to do back then. I remember very vividly when we started O3 Capital Nigeria Limited, and we went live, that was in 2015. Sometimes when you draw up your weekly report and you see transaction volume, you try to, then we were rejoicing anyway, to the fact that we had customers coming to use our cards and on the ATM, POS, and other channels. However, if you compare what we used to do then to what we have now, you will still have, you see growth, immense growth, in what the company is doing and the number of transactions that that we are approving and processing on a daily basis. The pandemic really, like I said, has increased very immensely the rate of digital adoption, and it's making those who are not even tech savvy to quickly go out there and get a smartphone and be able to do transactions online real time. It's promoting ubiquity. Ubiquity in the sense that you are able to do your banking transactions online real time, anywhere, everywhere, without issues. Seamlessly, very seamlessly.
What are the expectations now in terms of product solution and, of course, branding from O3 Capital in 2022?
In 2022, we have set the ball rolling. We have so many merchant partnership, in place that we are almost, rounding up with them and establishing business relationship. But the major product, there's a major product that we are working on, and we are going to launch before, hopefully, half year 2022. It's going to come with a lot of benefits, deals and discounts, most especially for millennials and the younger generations. It's going to, we'll occupy the space, and everybody will hear about O3 Capital.
We respect your adverts too on TVC so that we can partner and do a lot of stuff together with you. It's been nice talking to you this afternoon. I've been speaking to Chief Operating Officer O3 Capital Nigeria Limited, Mr. Tai Falana. So you are optimistic that with all of these challenges, this sector is still going to stand tall in 2022. Is that what you're saying?
A lot of improvement. Let me quickly chip this point in. Very early this morning, the news broke that one fintech firm in Nigeria just raised about $130 million foreign investment, from abroad. It's an attestation to the fact that we are doing very well and we are doing the right thing. We will keep doing the right thing.
I will ask you, something just came to my mind before we wrap up. Support, yes. Support for fintechs. How has it been getting support from fintech, to grow your company, get more people employed and all of that? How has it been? Government support, how has it been?
Well, the CBN, which is our major regulator, they have been doing very well. What they do is when we come up with products, we go to them, they look at it, and they give us definite approval. They've been doing well, and we do not have any problem with them. Support has been fantastic from that side, and we're happy for it.
I must thank you again for your time, Mr. Tai Falana, who is the Chief Operating Officer of O3 Capital Nigeria Limited. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us on Business Nigeria. We'll keep a tab with you anytime we have issues surrounding the fintech space. We'll have you in to help us dissect and talk about it.
Thank you very much.
All right, then.